Seeds of discontent. The social and economic roots of revolution. France in the late 18th century was a nation rife with deep social and economic disparities. The French population, particularly the peasantry, faced crushing poverty and relentless hardship. They bore the brunt of heavy taxation, while the privileged classes, the clergy and nobility, enjoyed exemptions and lived in luxury. This stark contrast fueled growing resentment and a yearning for significant change. The French peasantry, struggling to survive, became increasingly disillusioned with the existing social order and its injustices. Their plight, coupled with the extravagance of the aristocracy, sowed the seeds of discontent that would eventually erupt into a full-scale revolution. Enlightenment ideals and the call for change. The 18th century witnessed the rise of the Enlightenment, a philosophical movement that championed reason, individual rights, and limited government. Enlightenment thinkers such as John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau challenged the absolute authority of monarchs and advocated for popular sovereignty. Their ideas resonated deeply in France, where the populace chafed under the yoke of absolutism. The success of the American Revolution, inspired by Enlightenment principles, further fueled the desire for change in France. The French people, witnessing the birth of a nation founded on liberty and self-governance, began to question the legitimacy of their own oppressive system. The financial crisis and the summoning of the Estates General. France's financial woes played a pivotal role in igniting the revolution. Decades of extravagant spending by the monarchy, coupled with costly wars, had plunged the nation into a severe financial crisis. The French government, facing bankruptcy, desperately sought to raise revenue. However, attempts to impose new taxes on the privileged classes were met with fierce resistance.
In a last-ditch effort to resolve the crisis, I agreed to convene the Estates General, a representative assembly that had not met for over a century.
The summoning of the Estates General, intended to address the financial crisis, inadvertently provided a platform for the grievances of the French people to be heard. A nation divided, the three estates, and the rise of tensions. The Estates General, composed of representatives from the three estates, the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners, convened in May 1789. However, the voting system, which gave each estate one vote regardless of its size, heavily favored the privileged classes. The third estate, representing the vast majority of the population, demanded a more equitable system based on proportional representation. Their demands were rejected, further exacerbating tensions between the estates. The third estate, feeling marginalized and ignored, grew increasingly frustrated with the deadlock. This frustration, fueled by years of resentment and inequality, set the stage for a momentous confrontation. Section 5. The birth of a revolution, the National Assembly and the storming of the Bastille. In June 1789, frustrated with the intransigence of the privileged classes, the Third Estate declared itself the National Assembly, the true representative body of the French people. This was a monumental step, as it signified a break from the traditional Estates General, where the Third Estate had little power compared to the clergy and nobility. This bold move marked the beginning of the French Revolution. It was a period of immense social and political upheaval, where the common people began to challenge the long-standing hierarchies and demand equality and justice.
The king, initially reluctant to recognize the National Assembly, eventually yielded to popular pressure. King Louis XVI's hesitation and eventual concession highlighted the growing power of the revolutionary movement and the diminishing authority of the monarchy.
Meanwhile, on July 14, 1789, a Parisian mob stormed the Bastille, a royal fortress and symbol of oppression. The Bastille was not just a prison, it was a symbol of the absolute power of the king and the injustices of the old regime. The storming of the Bastille, a pivotal event in the early days of the Revolution, demonstrated the power of popular mobilization and the determination of the French people to dismantle the old order. This event sent shockwaves throughout France and the world, signaling that the revolution was unstoppable and that the people were ready to fight for their rights and freedoms. Section 6. A New Era. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Constitutional Monarchy. In August 1789, the National Assembly adopted the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, a landmark document that proclaimed the fundamental rights and freedoms of all individuals. This declaration was a pivotal moment in the French Revolution. The declaration, inspired by Enlightenment ideals, such as those proposed by philosophers like John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, asserted the principles of liberty, equality, and popular sovereignty. It abolished feudal privileges, which had long oppressed the common people, and established the foundation for a more just and equitable society. This document was not just a statement of rights, but a call to action for social reform. France transitioned from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy, a significant change that altered the course of the nation's history, with the king's power significantly curtailed by a new constitution. This constitution aimed to balance power between the monarchy and the newly established legislative bodies. This period marked a radical shift in French governance, as the old regime's absolute power was dismantled, as the nation embraced the principles of limited government and individual rights. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and the subsequent constitutional changes laid the groundwork for modern democratic governance in France, influencing future generations and revolutions around the world.
Section 7. The Reign of Terror, Radicalism, Violence, and the Search for Stability.
The French Revolution, despite its initial promise of liberty and equality, descended into a period of intense violence and repression known as the Reign of Terror. The revolution faced numerous challenges, including internal uprisings, foreign invasions, and economic instability.
In response to these threats, the Jacobins, a radical faction led by Maximilien Robespierre, seized control of the government.
The Jacobins, determined to safeguard the revolution from its enemies, unleashed a wave of terror. Thousands of people, suspected of counter-revolutionary activities, were executed. The Reign of Terror, while ultimately short-lived, left a dark stain on the legacy of the French Revolution. Section 8. Napoleon's Rise, from Revolution to Empire. Out of the chaos and instability of the post-terror period emerged a new figure who would shape the destiny of France and Europe: Napoleon Bonaparte. A brilliant military strategist, Napoleon rose through the ranks of the French army during the Revolutionary Wars. In 1799, he seized power in a coup d'état, effectively ending the French Revolution. Napoleon, as first consul and later emperor, consolidated his power and embarked on a series of military campaigns that expanded French influence across Europe. His reign marked the transition from the ideals of the Revolution to a new era of authoritarian rule. Section 9. The Legacy of the French Revolution. The French Revolution, despite its tumultuous and often violent course, left an enduring legacy on France and the world. It shattered the foundations of absolute monarchy and feudalism, paving the way for more democratic forms of government. The revolution's emphasis on individual rights and popular sovereignty inspired liberal and nationalist movements across Europe and the Americas. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen remains a cornerstone of human rights declarations worldwide. The French Revolution, while ultimately ending in authoritarian rule under Napoleon, ignited a flame of liberty and equality that continues to inspire struggles for freedom and justice today. Section 10. Conclusion. A revolution's enduring impact. The French Revolution was a watershed moment in human history, a testament to the power of ideas and the yearning for freedom and equality. It was a time when the common people rose up against centuries of oppression, demanding a new social order where their voices could be heard and their rights respected. It demonstrated the transformative potential of popular movements, but also the dangers of unchecked radicalism and violence. The revolution brought about significant changes, including the abolition of feudal privileges and the establishment of a republic, but it also led to a period of intense turmoil and bloodshed. The revolution's legacy is complex and multifaceted, a mixture of triumph and tragedy. It paved the way for modern democratic institutions and inspired countless other movements for change around the world. Yet it also serves as a cautionary tale about the potential for revolutionary fervor to spiral out of control. Its impact continues to be debated and reinterpreted, but its significance as a turning point in the history of democracy and human rights remains undeniable. Today, we see its influence in the ongoing struggles for justice and equality, as people continue to fight for the principles that the revolution sought to uphold. The French Revolution, with its enduring message of liberty, equality, and fraternity, continues to resonate in the 21st century, reminding us of the importance of these ideals in our own time. As we reflect on its legacy, we are reminded of the power of collective action and the enduring quest for a more just and equitable society.